Hello everyone and welcome to the video. This is video 3-1, and in this video I'm going to talk to you a little bit about hidden lines. Now, what you see here on my screen that appears to be just a gray rectangle is actually the top view of a part that we're going to describe on a blueprint. Now, the reason I want to talk to you about this is hidden lines. You see here we see no details. All we have is just a top view of part, a big gray rectangle. However, if I change my visual style, I can start to show you a little bit of what's going on inside here. See, we have all this detail, and what that is a counterbore hole that's being cut through this part. Now the counterbore refers to this larger outside hole here. A counterbore is an enlarged hole that's been drilled to a certain depth to allow a bolt to sit down in this hole to where you can have a nice smooth flush surface here. So let's talk about hidden lines. Now if we look at a drawing of this part, you can see we have two circles here representing our counterbore hole, and that's in our front view. In the right side view over here, the hole is represented with hidden lines. Now, hidden lines are drawn at a thin line weight, where object lines are drawn at a thick line weight. You can see the difference right here. And also, when you talk about hidden lines, they're just a series of uniformly sized short dashes. Typically, the dash is 1/8 of an inch, and the gaps between the dashes, the spaces here, are 1/16 of an inch. Now, that's easy enough to understand. This is our large outer hole. This is our large outer hole here, represented by these two hidden lines. As a matter of fact, if I draw a line over here, you can see where they connect. Now the same thing happens with the small hole. As it goes through the part, it connects here. So everything projects over it, all lines up very nicely. Now, let's look at another drawing that is very similar. You see right here we have basically the exact same drawing. The only difference is this line is no longer being represented by an object line, it's being represented by a hidden line. And the other difference you'll see is the interior detail here is a mirror image of the interior detail here. Well, what's happening here, by changing this line type and making this a hidden line and flipping over this interior detail, where we see that we're actually starting to describe two different parts. If we look at the models here, you can see this model is identical to the one we looked at before. You have the large counterbore on the front of the part, and on the back of the part we have the small hole. However, if we look at this part, it's the exact opposite. We have the small hole coming through the front of the part, and the counterbore is actually on the back of the part. So if we look back at the 2D drawing here, you can see that by changing just this one line, we're actually describing two very different parts. And the same thing applies when we change this material. Okay everybody, that's it for video 3-1. Thanks for watching.